Welcome to today's video, where I talk to people who have never read The Wheel of Time about the Wheel of Time trailer, and I also talk to some readers as well. We're talking the look, the costumes, the settings, the CGI. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe. What do you guys think? What were your first impressions? Is this a show that you would watch with interest?
Yeah, I think so. I really liked the costuming that they put everybody in. And the very first thing I thought of was the Beyonce song, Who Run the World.
Nice. I love that. It's perfect because the ladies are, they're the most powerful thing.
So it looks like I think I would like it, and I would watch it without even knowing that it was a book series or that people I knew liked it, I guess. So nice. It was intriguing on its own.
I love it. What'd you think?
Yeah, I agree with Tori. It looks cool. They had me with, the women. And I was like, yeah, okay. You got me.
Obviously.
I'm ready for it.
I think sometimes shows like this can come off as cheesy or disingenuous, and I didn't feel that way when I was listening to the dialogue and stuff. So
that's good. I know. So one thing I was worried about is that some of the bad creatures or whatever, the bad guys in this are inhuman, right? And so
okay.
I was concerned they have hooves. That's a creature that's not a horse. That's, a guy they're fighting. There's this guy that's called a Murdral. It doesn't have eyes, whatever. So I was worried going into this, I wasn't sure how those were going to look and if it would turn off people that didn't know what they were supposed to be looking at. But you think those look good enough or close enough to fantasy antagonists that it wasn't a turn off at least?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, it's not why I'm gonna watch it.
Fair.
But no, that's fine. The hoofed thing actually reminds me of a lot of I can't even think of this. Sabrina, the devil, right? Isn't he hooved? So it's kind of devilish,
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
That's fair.
This guy was pretty off-putting.
Yeah.
When I watched through, I was like, oh, gross.
But not in a cheesy way, I hope. For me,
No.
they kind of remind me of the Dementors. This image in particular, because I wasn't expecting all the teeth. I don't think anyone that read the books necessarily was expecting all the teeth. But whenever you think about the Dementors, they have the kiss or whatever. And so I was maybe people will expect sort of a hooded figure that looks like it'll eat your face off,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. There's a series that was a book they turned into a show, and it was cheesy in the trailers and the show itself. And I still watched it.
Are we talking about Shannara here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shannara. So cheesy. But in a endearing way.
Yeah.
So this isn't cheesy. This is fantasy. You're really gonna be put into that world.
Somebody just asked, is this the same actor as the mouth of Sauron? It's close. It's not. It definitely, when you look at it, you think, yep, this is a fantasy show. If I hadn't already decided, I know that now. So somebody in chat's also saying, I like the choice to focus the first trailer on Aes Sedai and the One Power. So there's going to be longer trailers. And a lot of the people who read the books expect the three young men in the trailer to be the main guys, just based on certain plot devices. The women are incredibly strong in the series, don't get me wrong, but they're a big focus in the first book. So I take it that the fact that they highlighted the women, that was a positive for you. We liked that. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Seeing what they did with the descriptions of the book, which are sort of old-fashioned, and it being translated into some epic, lady who looks amazing with tattoos on her chest. I don't know, I feel they're not gonna scare people away with old-fashioned medieval type stuff, because she looks awesome. Would you agree?
I'd wear that dress.
Yeah, I would too.
I just really liked the colors, the different like some of the different scenes, the way the background colors were, if that makes sense. Like some of them were much lighter, much wider, a little bit foggier. I just like the way they had the very primary colors, which I'm assuming is, I don't know, tribe something, families or something like that, differentiation. So I just really liked watching it.
Yeah.
It was, in and of itself, was entertaining.
Like visually stunning. So some people like, you know, expect a fantasy, like a medieval type thing to be sort of drab, right? You know, the Game of Thrones, like everyone's in muted colors, whatever. And I've seen discourse on the interwebs that's like, oh, that's what it should have looked like. And I'm over here like, no, this looks fat. You know, like, I love this. And so we can confirm that non-readers also love this. So thank you for that. Aurelia, what do you think?
I mean, I'm excited to see it. I'm going to try and read the first book before it comes out. I'm trying to finish my current book, so we'll see.
Nice.
But it makes me want to, you know, read it too, so that I can try and get like the insider knowledge and then be with the cool kids who know like what it all means, because I'm sure there's a lot we don't understand from that trailer that you're picking up on. Seeing a bunch of women be a bunch of badasses, that's what I'm here for.
You love to see it. Okay.
Yeah, I want more of it.
I know. Well, it's going to be all over the series. Okay, we're talking costumes right now, guys.
We were also just talking costumes as we were following along.
Okay.
And the idea that the show would be drab is hilarious as someone who's read the books, because you have nothing if not every detail of every person and what they're wearing throughout the entirety of every book. So
That's true.
And there was nothing, it was not like everyone's wearing mustard brown. Everyone had their colors. So
right.
Getting actual colors is pretty nice.
So like just this image alone. I mean, there's another one of the Hall of the Tower with all of them like around in a circle, but you can see that not only do they have like very bright colors at times to indicate their Aja, which is amazing, but the style of clothing is not just like your average medieval frock. You know what I mean? I think like Moraine's rocking the shoulder pads, which in the other shots of the Hall of the, here we go. You like look at all the different types of outfits. We've got somebody in a hijab, right? There's like, so you can assume that it's based on their Aja, but also probably based on the region they're from, which to me is just like world building. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I think they did a good job of that. Like, it looks very diverse. Robert Jordan didn't leave much to the imagination when it came to clothing, so I think we got a pretty good description of what to expect, and I like that there's a lot of diversity, because, I mean, there was a lot of diversity in the description of the books, too.
Right. True. Somebody says there's a lot of fashion in the books. Yeah, I think we're all agreeing with that. Like, it wouldn't be, like, boring Game of Thrones fashion in my, well, I guess Marjorie had some cool outfits, but, like, this is, like, on a whole other level.
Obviously, like, the artistic direction and design, I think, is good. They're diverse, they're intricate, they look good. I think from, like, a style perspective, I always want the fantasy stuff to look not directly tied to something in real life, right? Like, you want it to look fantastical. And so I like that a lot of the costuming does it. Like, it's reminiscent of things you might have seen in periods of actual human history, but it's all kind of different, you know? It's got a alien type of feel to it, and that I think is important for any fantasy work, because it's a different world.
Yeah, I think definitely some of the set pieces really blew me away. So, there's like roughly at like the 25 or 26 second mark, there's this shot of the ivory tower with Dragon Mount in the back, and that just like blew me away.
Let's pull it up.
It looks like the production quality. I think it's like 26 seconds.
Yeah, guys, it's up.
The production quality, things like that. When you see that, it's clear that they're trying to put in the time, the effort, the energy, the money into making this a really great series. So I was very excited. I mean, I watched it, I think 3 or 4 times back to back when it first came out. So yeah, I cannot wait.
Yeah. This is the Wine Spring Inn. Is like, I think it's adorable and like so scenic, right? Like, do you guys like how they pictured this stuff? Like the peaceful beginning, you know?
Yeah, this is perfect, honestly.
Perfect.
Mostly when I think of Emmons Field, I think of the square where they do the dance, and that to me was perfect.
Yeah.
You know, is picturesque fantasy small town square thing, and super stoked for that.
Yeah, and like the dancing. I'm really jazzed. Okay, I see Shingles. Poor Sen is unemployed. I know. I mean, poor guy. Like, poor Sen Buey is out of work. Let's see. Do we think there will be any CGI changes between the trailer versus the show? Honestly, like as Ben said, I thought the One Power looked frickin' awesome. And I think what they did with the Trollocs was a lot of, as they promised, practical effects. There's smoke, there's darkness, there's shadows, and I've said this before, but like an Alien, which was in the 70s, like, you don't need CGI to make something look sick if there's practical effects that are right, like the darkness and the whatever. So I don't know, and honestly, what I saw, I wouldn't be mad if they didn't tweak it. Like, I think it looks great as it is. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of practical effects. Like, I think movies need a lot more of them because when done really well, it just helps with the immersion.
Yeah.
So I don't mind that at all. It's hard in the day of like 4K high def when people have OLED televisions to do CGI in a way that's like truly, you know, meshes with the backgrounds and like natural environments. So
For sure.
yeah, having the Trollocs be like, you know, real effects driven, I think is really good. And then obviously the stuff like Murdrawl, you know, it's kind of hard to carve a big hole full of teeth in people's faces.
There's like the practical effects. I mean, we saw with Lord of the Rings first trilogy as much practical effects as possible, and then they did The Hobbit and they went the other way, and it was terrible.
True.
So, you know, the orcs and the Uruk-hai in Lord of the Rings looked great, and the Trollocs and the Murdrawl here look fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty happy about that.
You know, you guys were talking a little bit about the fan service stuff. I mean, just in the chat as we've been doing this, we talked about, you know, pulling on braids and smoothing skirts and, you know, like those kinds of things. And, you know, I certainly expect to see some of that, just almost as just a little joke, you know, thrown in. Like there'll be a scene where somebody does one of those things. So I hope they have it in there. Keep things a little bit more lighthearted.
Yeah,
I'll be extremely upset if they don't have a transition that's just a zoomed in smoothing of a skirt, you know, and then it zooms out to see like Nynaeve with like a really, or Nynaeve with like a really, you know, stern look on her face.
I feel like Nynaeve also like sniffs a lot, and that's something like I don't know that I do. Like I can't really like if you're mad at somebody, I'm never like, you know what I mean? So I'm curious to see like what they do with that. But like I think it's my theory that they're gonna wait because everyone like, so we did bingo cards. I don't know if you are at all on Twitter of Time, but like somebody had like a Wheel of Time trailer bingo card, and we could all fill it out, and like tons of people had Nynaeve pulling her braid, like tons, and she didn't do it obviously in the trailer. I think they're gonna wait. I think they have to do it, fan service, but it's going to be in the show itself. So like once it happens, everyone's going to lose their minds.
You know, the story of Wheel of Time is one of my favorites and has caused me to read so much more fantasy stuff. So I'm excited to see it come to life and actually, you know what's happening. When Game of Thrones came out, I had no idea about any of it.
Yeah.
And it got super popular, and here I get to be part of that crowd and see all that sort of come to life. So it's just going to be awesome, I think.
The trailer showed they put a lot of effort into, again, a lot of the stuff that we talked about, the set design and costuming and effects and things like that I think are important for something like this, to just like bring the world to life. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch it and just see how it plays out.
Well, I think the series can be, like Ben was saying, super intimidating to sort of start from scratch, and so this might motivate a lot of people to be like, well, maybe I should, if it like grabs their attention, you know, like maybe I should read ahead and like get really excited about seeing what's coming next. So I mean, it's moved up on my short list, but my short list is kind of long. So
women have been asking for stronger fantasy TV shows. I mean, even outside of fantasy, like stronger female characters. And I think I saw a bunch of smartly dressed, impressive women doing some really badass things. So that makes me want to watch it. And you all are basically speaking a different language right now. I don't understand anything that you're saying, but nothing you've said has made me not want to give it a shot.